City Beach, where the waves are always crashing.
Love it. I can't sleep without that sound now. Welcome to our new way of life.
More importantly, for sure. I mean, this has been an interesting couple of weeks. We spent 8 weeks or so sort of laying low and just transitioning to a new way of doing life, which has been awesome.
Yeah, slowing down has been really important for us to find that new rhythm. It's so easy to get back into that busy life stage, and that's something that we really want to protect ourselves against.
It's been a decent amount of work just figuring out like new residency and everything that is involved with moving and all of that stuff, and like selling a vehicle in the midst of it and getting one of them fixed. But man, it's been totally worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to go back.
I know. I love this, and we have already, in this short new season of our life, made so many good memories and had so much fun together. If we don't see at least one alligator, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. I've had this conversation with a lot of people where I've said, like, everything that we own can fit in one vehicle. Well, right now it's 2, but it'll soon be 1. And they always respond with this, like, oh, that sounds so awesome, like so freeing that the only thing that you own and need is in one vehicle. And the truth is, it is really freeing. And I think my big takeaway over the past 2 months is this is totally worth it. Like, we had a lot of cold feet, I think, going into this, like, oh, how long are we gonna like this kind of thing? Are we gonna want to buy a house again real soon? And what we've done is we've traded, more income in our previous way of life to having more freedom in our current way of life. And I just gotta say, man, the freedom is so much better.
Yeah.
This is worth it, and I hope, I would love to encourage someone else to do the same.
Yeah, but the process to get there is a little tricky. It's time consuming, it's a commitment. For me, the hardest part wasn't necessarily getting rid of things. It was not knowing how long we're necessarily going to be on the road, when we're going to buy again, where that's going to be, which items might be necessary then, and what items are actually worth keeping and paying for in a storage unit for month to month. So we definitely got like the smallest storage unit, but I think we're probably still going to get rid of a lot of those items.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, small storage unit, but you're right. It was hard to decide because everything that we own has some value to us, and having to decide, are we ever going to use this again? Is it worth the monthly fee in the storage unit for us to hold on to this for how many years? That was really challenging.
It was, but I'm almost now not even thinking about it. It's like that stuff is tucked away. We don't need any of it right now, and we can just dream about the future.
And the truth is, we learned this when we went away this summer, you just forget about the things that aren't right in front of you, right? We haven't thought about the stuff that's in that storage unit. And we are having so much fun right here, right now, and I'm so glad we're here.
Yeah.
crashed into a bush, which wasn't a big deal. But at the exact same time, Miko's chain broke. So now we're riding 2.5 miles to a bike shop, and Miko is riding his bike without a chain, so he's riding it like a scooter. One of the things that we've been learning in this season of our life is just how to live different financially. Like, obviously we're in a different financial situation since I'm not working, and I've really been like pinching pennies. I go to the grocery store and come in with the cheapest stuff, and then Amy comes home with like, oh, look at all this cool crap that I bought that we don't need.
Well, we are just loving life, and we really do want this to last as long as possible. We want this to be sustainable for our family, and I've always been curious how families do this.
Yeah, important to note that we did not sell our house, or we're not like dwindling away at a chunk of money. You know, that's set aside to buy a house later. The goal is to just live on what we can make while we're on the road.
Yeah.
And of course, you're working still.
So I'm continuing to work remotely, trying to get to a point where I can be working part-time a lot of weeks, which has worked this year so far, because I really want to soak in this time together. But a couple things, I guess, you know, we were never chasing after this lifestyle necessarily, but we did realize last year this actually could be sustainable for us.
And that's what triggered in us this desire to like save a bunch of money, you know, over the last, I don't know, handful of months before we left.
Yeah.
Save as much as we could, just so that we'd have that comfortable cushion, because we just didn't know, you know, what's going to happen.
Joel's always been kind of the breadwinner. We used his income for all the boring expenses, and I got to be the fun money mom.
That's right.
So it was a little stressful to think about taking that responsibility on myself, but a couple things that we already had going in place that were really helpful is we have some income properties, so we know that we can live incredibly cheaply if necessary and just live off of that passive income. There won't be any going out for dinner. Amy cannot be allowed in the grocery store, but we definitely could still survive and be okay.
We've spent a lot of time over the past 4 or 5 years building up a little bit of real estate income, and have taken no profit from that in that time, just reinvested, and it's been so much work. And finally, we're able to like enjoy some of that.
We can take a paycheck.
And I'm so thankful for all that work. But I'm also so thankful for right now that we get to enjoy this.
Yes. Another thing that we did before we left was we just saved up a lot. I didn't want the stress day to day of building clients and making sure we were making ends meet. I didn't want to lose my team. So we built up, 6 months of savings in our personal fund, 6 months in our business fund, just in case, so that we had a comfortable pillow. Because when you have your own business, things go up and down some months, and I didn't want it to be feast or famine.
Yeah, exactly. Because we want to be able to take walks on the beach and not be, super stressed about money.
Yes.
This is financial milestone celebration night, which is pretty fun.
It is. We've never done this. We've always been the couple that has like the unpopped bottles of champagne waiting in the fridge, not celebrating things. Yep. And I am just done with that in our life. I'm ready to celebrate, and it's super fun.
So that was restaurant number 1, which is actually right up there, which was like the most epic view of sunset ever. So this is fun. Good job, wife. Up top for meeting goals. Exceeding goals.
Glad I'm in it with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, we started out life super poor. Yeah. And not that I think about like, oh, if Joel would die someday, but like, I did think about this last week.
All right. Must have been a bad week, but whatever. Let's go. Go on.
And it just made me think, like, I'm in a very different place financially because of you, and like, we've been through that together. Like, we've been from being like living where we didn't heat our living room because we were so poor in Chicago, to like now where we don't have to really look at the price tag tonight for dinner. And
I would just, like, I think that taught us so much to go from nothing to having something, and I would never want to enjoy this with someone else but you. Like, I just feel like we get to enjoy
That's
it.
so precious. I was wondering where this was going. You started with my death, but that was a sweet thing that you ended up saying.
I just feel like we get to enjoy, look, we feel that reward.
Enjoying
in
it together.
Such a sweet way.
Yeah.
You've been busy planning the upcoming month. What gets you excited?
I think the freedom. I think one of the things that I loved about Panama City Beach is that it's so low key. Like, but we've been like going to the park and going to the skate park and going to the beach, and I'm ready for there to be like some other options. Like, I want to go on a hike. I want to explore a jungle, climb a mountain. There's so many epic things in our country that are kind of untouchable during the winter. So I'm excited for that. We're off to Orlando next, and we're there for 6 weeks or so, and then we've been looking at flights after that. There's so many. Central and South America is so accessible from Miami. So like, just thinking about going to Costa Rica for a month or two and exploring jungles and volcanoes and snorkeling. I was looking at fishing charters today and scuba diving. We can have a ton of fun with that.
Am I gonna have time to work?
Nope. Unfortunately, what we have to trade is that Costa Rica is a very like comfortable for Americans place to go, but it's also not the least expensive in those countries. So
Yeah. We thought we'd be buying an RV by this point, but we are gonna hold back on that a little bit. There's time for that in the future, and soak up this freedom.
it's a little stressful to think about that transition from this into an RV. There's just a lot of changes that'll have to happen. But you're right, I love this freedom. We can go wherever the heck we want. And that's stressful because I don't know where we're going in 6 weeks, but it's also super fun.
Yeah.
So we're dreaming about Alaska in the future. I think we still maybe want to go up to northern Michigan this summer. Be fun. The sky's the limit, babe, and I love it.
I do too. I'm so excited.
I've really loved Panama City Beach. Like, this place I think is like dear to our hearts just because this is our second time here, and for us it just feels like
Rest.
it feels like a place of rest and like a place where we sort of put a stake in the ground and said, this is the beginning of something new. And I think we'll always cherish these moments for that reason, because this is the start of a new day in our lives. The kids are clamming right now.
What a childhood they get to have.
They're collecting little baby clams.
It's so cute. Miko's like, the girls are like, we have to do this for our business. And Miko said, I was just kidding, guys.
Whoa! Did you collect all of those yourself?
No, Mika doesn't even have.
How much do I have to pay for a clam?